So now y'all saying, okay, well, yeah, well, Lou, that's a valid point. But what about the government? So now y'all moving the goalposts. Okay, yes, the government is implicit as well, but they can't control people who come over here legally, undocumented, and bring drugs and smuggle into black communities. Like, what can they do? And why are we moving the goalposts to hold them accountable when we talking about the impact of fentanyl on black communities?
I'm not moving the goalposts and broadening the conversation because, for one, we already established, like, because it wasn't the data doesn't just, like, make a distinction between those who are dual citizens and those who are not. The data states that the majority, over 80% of the people smuggling fentanyl into the United States are American citizens. That's the first thing. The second thing is that if you are a country or a state with a population that is struggling with drug addiction, you should do something to help your people. And if your state is not doing anything and you're accusing people who bring fentanyl into the country as of chemical warfare, then you're also saying that your state is complicit in that warfare. Are you not?
Can I please say something?
But you are.
Because
If you
Go
can
ahead, Pink Bro. I'm going after you.
okay. So listen, I understand the spirit of what you are trying to say. Um, but the reality on the ground is very different. When you talk about quote unquote fentanyl safe places, if you're talking about places that are assigned where people can freely use drugs and there are people who are on hand to give them Narcan or something so that they don't die. That is not a solution, Aquarius, where you have huge swaths, maybe blocks of people who are zombified. Like, do you have children? What if you were poor and you had to live in those areas where they are saying, this is the free area where if you are addicted to drugs, you can safely engage in those things. I can tell you that I know someone who does cleanup, and I'm saying clean up for dead bodies, all right? Hoarders, dead bodies, that sort of thing. Came from Canada. Uh, their home base is in Vancouver. They said on a regular basis, the type of places, the locations where you're saying that people can freely use drugs, so there will be people there who will rescue them. They are constantly being called to clean up after the dead bodies every single day in these places that you are saying are safe, kind, and compassionate. And the people who live there who don't do drugs, who may have children, but who may be poor, have to then expose their children to this negativity that you, hopefully, and I pray that you do not have to be forced to be in those environments where those other people are. You think you're being compassionate to drug addicted people, but you're not. You're not. Not when you are endangering the lives of many other people who have no choice but to have to stay where they are. And I
So
want to
I
also wait, I'm not done. I'm not done because I've been waiting to say this. Here's a quote from a politician. I'm not going to tell you who it is, but I'm going to give you the quote because I want you guys to realize how much you guys are being manipulated by parties who lie. Okay? The Democrats and Republicans are different sides of the same lying mouth. You cannot trust either one of them. But one party in particular is the people who belong to it are adopting it as a religion, which is fucking scary. So here's a quote I want to say. I voted for the fence. I voted, unlike most Democrats, I voted for 700 miles of fence and punish American employers who knowingly violate the law when, in fact, they hire illegals. Unless you do those two things, all the rest is window dressing. So, who do you think, which politician do you think said, I voted, unlike most Democrats, for 700 miles of fence? I'm going to tell you, Joe Biden. Joe fucking Biden said this in 2026. Kirsten
So
Gillibrand. I'm not done.
sorry, there was a pregnant pause. Go.
I paused so that you would let it sink in and not just try to find ways to jump in my mouth. But I also paused so that other people can let that sink
But I'd
in.
like to ask you a question, Pink Pill, if possible.
Finish first. Um, Kirsten Gillibrand opposed amnesty for undocumented immigrants between 2005 and 2008. Supported empowering local police to enforce federal immigration laws, and backed increased border enforcement and withheld funds for sanctuary cities. Now, she is a senator, the co-sponsor of the DREAM Act, an advocate for earned path to citizenship, supports sanctuary cities and opposes mass deportation, called for abolishing ICE and restructuring immigration enforced in 2018. And then we have a quote from another politician. And this particular politician said, and he warned that immigration would cause semi-slavery and conditions that would depress wages. Who was that person? Bernie Sanders. Now he supports comprehensive reform, including DACA, broader humanitarian approach. Hillary Clinton. I am adamantly against illegal immigrants. Certainly, we've got to do more at our borders, and people have to stop employing illegal immigrants. She said this in 2003. In 2007, she said she expressed concerns about granting undocumented immigrants driver's licenses. After an initial mix-up, she ultimately opposed a New York effort to allow it.
Is this
So
a monologue?
it is until I'm finished. I'm bringing this to your attention. So the very people that you're saying are advocating, the political positions that you're advocating are fluid, depending on what is expedient for them. And yet you guys want to give your blood to them. You want to sacrifice your intelligence, your critical thinking skills, your safety, your security, your love for your own fucking country because these people told you to do it. But I just want to remind you that a few years ago, they said something different. And you are the dummies, not them. If you can be so easily manipulated, then you are the dummy. Now I'm going to be quiet.
Okay,
Okay, so
Aquarius,
I
that
just hold on.
Jesus Christ.
I just wanted to
Wait,
quickly
hold on,
reiterate and
Chris,
then go
Chris,
back
Chris, let
down
me ask you a
into the
question real
group.
quick. Chris, let me ask you a question.
Hold
All
on.
right,
First, Lou, hold on. Let me just reiterate something and then I'll
all
go
right.
back down into the group. Safe or supervised consumption sites also provide addiction services. They also provide or will connect you with mental health care. So it's not just that these sites provide a safe environment and prevent overdoses. They also help with addiction services, mental health services, so on and so forth. So it people say it. James is saying it is a horrible idea, but these sites in a number of countries have worked. They've saved lives, and if you're experiencing a crisis where you live and your government is not doing anything, blaming illegal immigrants and accusing them of chemical warfare because some are smuggling in fentanyl while your government does nothing, the math is just not mathing.
I
Wait,
agree.